Welcome back to Overlord Part 6B. I had to stop the last video because dinner was ready. Yep, that is the reason why this is split in half. Okay, now picking up where I last left off with the last one, where I was talking about the adaptation of Book 7. Now, there are 4 characters introduced in here, actually a handful of them, and these 4 get a good amount of development. Now, these 4 do not come back after this book because, like with Book 2, we introduced 4 adventurers, and they all die by the end of the book. Well, 2 of them anyways. I think. Yeah. The 4 of them are Roderick Godwin, Hadrin Towner, Emina, and Archie. Yeah, that's really these people's names. Now, these 2 are guys, and Emina is an elf with long purple hair and pigtails. Roderick has a thing for her. Yeah, he's in love with her, and they get hired to go to invade the tomb of Nazarick. They don't know it's Nazarick, but they get invited to invade the tomb. Yep, and like the night before they go off to leave, Emina and Roderick, apparently off screen, these 2 decide to have sex. How do I know this? Well, he's getting out of bed and she is lying in bed butt naked. Well, under a sheet anyways. That's how I know these 2 had sex. Well, probably drunk sex because she was drunk like crazy. Which kind of reminds me, which famous, which are 2 series I've watched where it has a smoking hot woman and she constantly drinks? Well, that reminds me of a character from Fairy Tail and Black Clover. In the case of Fairy Tail, it's the character Kana, the woman who's daughter of Gildarts, the strongest man in Fairy Tail. In Black Clover, it's the character Vanessa, who's also described as a sex pot. Yes, I'm not kidding. This woman is not described as that, but she's a very strong warrior. Archie, she's a daughter of she's from a noble family. One who got disgraced by the current ruler of the country, and the country called the Byzantine Empire. Yep. Yeah, and the emperor himself has got a long name. Jotri Rune Belord L. Knox. Yeah, he later shortened it to L. Knox later. Now, before any of these characters get introduced any of these characters, Momon, aka Ons, and Nabi, the combat maid who's also an adventurer, comes to the country because they feel like it. And of course, they're hired by the people who are meant to invade the Tomb of Nazarick. There are teams like there is this jerk of a guy who has 3 elves as slaves. Yeah, he basically abuses these girls because he thinks he's superior to them. Lucky enough, when he gets killed, what do these 3 women do? They beat his corpse. Yes, that is seriously what they do. Because they're tired of this guy's abuse, so let's just beat his corpse right after he's killed. There's also another group, which is led by an old priest, who looks like something out of a Chinese mythology. Yeah, I think this guy might be Chinese. Yeah, it's stated by his title like Chinese dragon, because he's also a pretty damn good fighter too when they see him fight later on. And there's another group which is led by this overweight knight, and he speaks in 2 different ways. And they come across these mausoleums which are filled with treasure, like all over the place. Yeah, of course they're sending out these. How they get there is quite interesting. They get there via covered wagons. Now, when you think of covered wagons, you think of big oval things and not much room to move around. These kind of remind me of troop transports. Yeah, except they're drawn by horses and they have a lot more room in them. Yeah, and they're more square-like than circular. These also carry supplies, all that stuff. They get to Tomb of Nazarick. They don't know it's Tomb of Nazarick until they get in there. And they see a distance. They go there. Most of the group, except for one, goes to the front door. The other goes to one of the secret entrances. So they get killed by a bunch of undead soldiers. So yeah, they get killed by a bunch of dead soldiers. And let's see. I don't want to say the word because I know a lot of people don't like it when I say in these videos. So let me think here. So they go inside, and a lot of these characters get killed up pretty quickly. As for the four adventurers who get a focus particular arc, yeah, two of whom, the leader of the group and his girlfriend, get paralyzed, and they're in a battle with Ainz himself, who's wearing a completely different outfit he's normally wearing. And also, why the heck is he wearing a collar? I mean, I get probably now they explain in the book why the lizard men basically are wearing collars with broken up chains. It's part of their training. Fine, whatever. Why is Ainz wearing one? There's no reason why he needs to wear one. And why can't he wear it? It seems like he wears an outfit where he's like, you just got out of bed. Yeah, wearing these weird looking bathrobes. Like, really? He's like, how dare you invade my home? Yeah, instead of like people, he pretty much just kills them all. Because that's the way he is. Yep, that's basically the way he is. So yeah. And Archie, the one who actually has little sisters to take care of, yeah, prior to leaving, she took her sisters out of her parents' home because she just couldn't stand her parents because they've disgraced themselves and they were stripping their abilities. Like, yeah, she points out though they have very little money, and the guy's like, doesn't matter. Let's keep spending stuff. And of course, I get different crappy pulls. Yeah, as for this guy get killed, yeah, I'm surprised that they decided to kill him off because the guy was not interesting. His only single parents, the guy was a complete jerk. As for his wife, Archie's mother, she was okay, but at least she's not a terrible person like Archie's father. He's like, yeah, I can't stand you anymore, so I'm moving out and I'm taking my sisters with me. Yeah, her two little sisters, adorable little things. And when she's off on, they know that she's been murdered. Yeah, as for who killed her, I'll get to who kills her in a minute. Yep. So she's basically told to leave. The one guy who remembered the group, he gets killed by Ainz. As for who kills Archie, it's Sheltair. Yep. She kills her by sort of devouring her. When she goes to her mini spinning mouth mode that she last was seen doing back at the end of season 1. In the books, this happened back in book 3. So in books-wise, it's been a good 4 books since she's done this. In the anime, it's been a good period of time. I'd say about a good almost 30 episodes, at least 20 episodes since she last did this. Yeah, but at least she... Yeah, and she also, before she went into her giant mouth mode, she decided to lick her. And this woman, Archie, didn't tell her that she has 2 sisters at home that she's trying to take care of. Didn't bother to tell that, and this plot point is completely forgotten. Yeah, it's one of those things where they set it up and nothing is done with it. Oh yeah, and also for the best Empire invading his home, the elves take a dragon to the Imperial Palace. Mary decides to put her stick in the ground, creates an earthquake that kills at least 100 soldiers, and in the ground, he just taps again, and the ground just swallows these soldiers up. And he tells them, "You have to come visit." Yeah, tell the Emperor you have to come to Sumanazari with your men. Yeah, which makes it this probably like the 4th time that, at least this time, at least not counting the invasion, this is probably the 3rd time that Ainz has actually invited people to the Tomb of Nazarick. Yep. So he apologizes for it. He executes a particular person, and of course, Demiurge for some reason is in his frog form. I don't know why that he's in this form for. I mean, there's nothing wrong with his no appearance. I'm sure that I'm sure from Ainz's perspective, like his no appearance would be perfectly fine. I mean, yeah, he's got pointy ears, but there's no reason why he had to go to this particular form. Yeah. At least Belle's not hiding anything. Of course, they also hint at in the next book, and of course they hint at here that she wants to meet Princess Rainier. Yep, she wants to meet Princess Rainier. And from what I've heard, she does. I won't get into how the meeting goes. I'll get into that when I talk about Book 10. That'll be in a later video. Yep, so in Book 9, like, right after they form an alliance with Tomb of Nazarick, of course, it's revealed, like, at the start of this, prior to Tomb of Nazarick being invaded, that Demiurge comes to the interesting idea to take Nazarick public. Technically starting his own country. So, they form an alliance with the Empire, and they try to take Karna Village. Of course, they don't mention Karna Village, but it's part of the Empire anyways. And try to take Iran Town. Yeah, decided to take Iran Town because, well, they feel like it. Yeah, takes Iran Town, and the Elsrath Kingdom decide the Riaz Kingdom decides to go to war. Yeah, apparently it's also mentioned here that apparently once a year the Empire and the Kingdom go to war in this same field once a year as part of their annual war. Yeah, and as for talk of invading territory, never mentioned. So when Ein shows up, he just takes out his soldiers and shocks Secretary, who was offered to be sort of the liaison between of course, Ain's himself, before he decides to become, like, when he starts his own country, he's like, I need a good title. It's like, he'll be like, Lovely King, Kind King. Kaitos comes up with the actual title who he used, the Sorcerer King, because, well, he's a good magic caster. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, so after they decided that, and of course they decided to, well, begin the actual battle itself, which is the first time in the series, probably the first time since the beginning of season 4, we actually have a major battle happening. The last time was at the beginning, was in the first part of season 2, but this is the first, like, grand scale battle. Yeah, and what does Ainz do in the first, like, minute? He takes out 70,000 soldiers with one spell to form these giant 5 creatures that sound like goats. And they trample on everybody. Apparently, don't go after these people. Apparently, the warrior chief who was there, he's told not to do it. Yeah. Of course, while all this is going on, the heir to the throne takes a group of soldiers to Karna Village to question about Ainz. Now, in the book, it's actually a little bit more going on in the book itself. Just a tad bit longer of the conversation before the actual battle starts. Yeah, and then pretty much most of the men are killed by freaking goblins. I mean, yeah, they take out like 5 ogres pretty easily. Eri, who's evacuating the village, and there's this funny moment prior to the whole battle breaking out where she's like constantly called chief because she's chief of the village, and she goes to the bottom to calm down, and and the guy who and her boyfriend, who of course they haven't made out yet. Now in the book, they get sort of interrupted. It's like, oh, you want to wrestle? Yeah, he's like very nervous around her, and yeah, in the book the goblin's like, oh, did I interrupt your makeout session? I'm like, okay, this is probably a cute recreation of what happened back during the previous season when they had, I think his name is Satru, and Crush Lily, where they're in like a tent. Says, yeah, and the guy who's voiced by the guy who voices Hercule from DBZ says, did I interrupt your baby making? Which I thought was so funny. And yeah, in the actual show, they don't really say it. They change line to something else, which I actually kind of thought that would have been funny. Yeah, if they interrupt an actual makeout session with these two. And these two never make out on screen for some reason. I'm like, okay, lady, this guy is in love with you, but he has difficulty expressing his feelings because he's very nervous around you, and you're a beautiful woman. Accept him. You have a good guy, basically, who wants to be with you, and he treats you and you just do it with a very good amount of respect, and you don't recuperate his feelings? Well, it's never mentioned if he does, she doesn't know. Yeah, and of course that's when the prince shows up. They try to launch an attack. They try to burn through the... He comes up with like ridiculous ideas, like because he's so angry. Like, oh yeah, they're traitors to the king. Let's burn down the village and kill everybody there. Man, that's not a good rule. That's a dictator, not a freaking kind king. Lucky enough, it's implied that Luna, the red-headed maid who actually comes in to kill them, yeah, and then Eri when he's been massacred by the Goblin soldiers. Yeah, these are like coming completely out of nowhere. Yeah, even I'm just like, what? Yeah, yeah. Apparently, the horn. There's this tiny horn called the Horn of the Goblin General, and it's like, okay, some low level goblins. She summoned a freaking army. I mean, there's like Sorcerer Brigade. There's assassins. It's like it. He probably thought there's like a handful of people. No, with that one horn, it looks like she summoned like 3,000 goblins. Even she's shocked, and Ainz is shocked too. Yeah, even he's like, what? Yeah, he's like that. So that was so funny. Yeah, I love his reaction to that. Yep. So, and of course the actual battle. This is the whole thing with the goblin. This is before the actual major battle itself, and they have this awesome battle. Well, it's implied it's gonna be an awesome battle between Ainz and Gazoff, the warrior chief. But he just like he challenges him a duel, and it's like accepts, freezes time, kills him instantly. I'm like, really? In the book, it's basically like splat, 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 splat. Here it's just quick. Yeah, I was very disappointed they actually changed this particular battle. I would have thought maybe he would hit a little more than once. Yeah, it was like an instant death. It would have been interesting though if they made this bout interesting, but it was a complete disappointment. And he even said because he has a lot of respect for this guy, he says he voluntarily wanted to clean his body before he sent it back to him. He's like, no, we'll take it as is. And of course, prior to this battle even happening, Brain, who's actually been there for a good period of time, of course, they also had this great reminiscing, like prior to the actual battle itself, like Brain, Gazaroff, and Climb are on top of the building. They're like, we should, like after the battle, let's go out drinking. And it's like, and Clive's like, I've never gone out drinking before. And Gazarov's like, think it as part of your training. Of course, he also mentions the whole thing, you should heighten your senses as well, aside from your combat skills. Okay, that's actually pretty good. And Brain comes with the interesting idea. It's like, okay, yeah, he tells the king, he's like, Your Majesty, Klein wants to marry your daughter, but he can't exactly do it, like, social standing because he's a commoner. And the king's like, okay, I'll give him a noble title. As what this title is, and they don't really say, because he's still his freaking bodyguard afterwards. And of course, Gazar, he has this awesome sword that he has, but he never gets a chance to use it against Ainz. Yeah. And, I mean, it's an awesome looking sword, and he uses it a few times against these giant creatures that sound like goats. But it seems like this whole thing was like rushed and very disappointing. I mean, aside from this disappointing battle, which now we freaking slaughter anyways, I just love the dialogue some of these people are given. And of course, after Gazar was killed, Brain takes a sword. You see, his previous sword he'd been using since he first showed up, he's been using a katana since he first showed up, and now he's using Ganarov's sword. Yep. Oh yeah, and also Gazar refers to Ainz as Master Ainz. Now, I get the reason why he does that, because he has a lot of respect for the guy, and the fact he saved Cardiff Village. It's unknown if Cardiff Village knows they're part of the Sorcerer Kingdom. Yeah, it's completely unknown if they are. And after Ainz kills Gazar, I was like, okay, I'll stop my attacks on the Royal Army if they pull out of Iran Town, which they eventually do. And Ainz marches his soldiers into Iran Town. Of course, there's later mentioned that apparently the administration abandoned the place. And there's a little boy who throws a rock at the soldiers, and Albedo being upset, she's about to kill him, and she's stopped by Momon, which is supposed to be Ainz, and then Ainz himself is supposed to right behind her. It's implied that Momon might be Pandora's actor here. It's not specifically stated, but apparently lately it's mentioned in Book 6 that Pandora's actor has been posing as Momon. Yeah. And he also mentioned, like, asked for his help, but apparently he's been out of town. Yep. So yes, he voluntarily becomes their watchdog, just keep an eye on everything. Ainz sets up his own throne room, like he goes to a particular building. It's later stated in Book 10 he goes to the former residence of the mayor of the town and turns one of the rooms into his personal throne room. It's not as grand as in the Tomb of Nazarick. And yeah, and of course, as also mentioned, next book he brings in his bed from the Tomb of Nazarick to this place. Of course, everybody bows. It's like set for something more. And of course, we also have a good scene between Rainier and Climb where they're gathering flowers. And she's doing it like after he leaves to go off prepare for like a memorial for Gazaroff. She's like doing her creepy smile that she was known for because she has a split personality. And of course, Climb and Brain go on the tower. And they sort of reminisce. It's like, okay, we won this battle even though we lost to Rantown. Let's go out drinking anyways. Because they promised to do a drink. Because they promised after the battle to win or lose, they go out drinking. And they go out drinking. Yeah. And of course, the last thing you see before the credits, it says, the story goes on. Which I'm very happy with that. This overall was a really fantastic season. I love this season. After reading the light novels that the season adapts, I was like, I'm really looking forward to watch this season as soon as I finish reading these books. And then as soon as I finished book 9, I jumped straight into the season and I loved it. It's fantastic. I could tell the Madhouse people who made this, the team from Madhouse who made this particular show, it seems like they're having a blast with this thing, especially from the opening titles. It looks fantastic. Everyone's basically walking a badass way. Great good rock song for it, which is fantastic. And after finish watching, I'm sure a lot of people basically, when they finish watching, it's like, man, that season is so good. Can't wait for season 4. I'm sure the Funimation probably is very impressed with the thing. I'm sure they're probably impressed with the sales this season probably got. I'm sure they probably are. I'm hoping this gives Madhouse the idea to do a season 4. Yes, there's 4 novels left to adapt, but there's nothing that says they can't adapt it anyways. Yeah, it's 4 books. They could definitely do all 4 books in these episodes. You could do at least, if they want to do another 13 episodes, they could, but I would recommend in order to get these books a little more breathing room, I would probably do a little bit more than 13 episodes. Like, to give these books a little more breathing room, because I'm sure there's a lot of material to cover, you could probably cover this, you probably could cover all 4 books in just 13 episodes, but I would increase it to about 14, maybe even up to 18 episodes, just to give these books a lot of breathing room. Yeah, but it's up to Madhouse of how they adapt it. Okay? So, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my review of the shorts, which I've already watched anyways, and hopefully when I get a chance to finish watching the OVA for the series. Okay? Which is the last one that came out, because this came out, this particular OVA, which is a 3-part one, came out back in November, basically 2 months ago. Yep. And yeah, that's it. There probably would be a review of Fairy Tail if they release new episodes today, which I'm probably sure they are. It just depends on when they upload it or not, okay? But to the next few. Bye.